So I know that we're really trying to drum up a lot of new engagement with fosters and bringing some more attention, especially with the push right now to be more community focused and to have more pets in homes as opposed to in shelters. So a lot of the approaches that I see oftentimes are just very tactical, which takes a very I needs approach. So it's usually emergency fostering, sort of posts, or just we're totally overpopulated and we really need to move pets out. So what I'm just going to be talking about today is really understanding how to be more strategic when you are thinking about your foster presentations and your foster engagement with your audiences. And also, as Kelly said, sort of taking it, in a more innovative approach and kind of rebranding the way that we've been addressing fostering, giving it a nice little fresh face, and doing what I have been approaching is called the pet sharing approach for fostering. So right now I notice there's this question of like, hey, even when we're getting a lot of engagement, we're not necessarily seeing a lot of action or not necessarily seeing a lot of results. And when I look at like who the target audience is that most of the shelters and rescues that I see are promoting to, they're usually promoting to, people like pet owners and previous fosters. So they're people who currently own pets or are already enjoying a pet parenting experience. And we're trying to drive into that like emotional understanding, or it's previous people that have fostered previously and engaged with us, and we're trying to re-engage with them again. But why isn't this necessarily having an actions result? It's because this isn't really our target market. This is just our current market. So these are the people that we've been presenting to over and over and over. And especially with COVID, everybody that ever was thinking about fostering, adopting, they did. So they took that opportunity to jump in, and we got really excited about it, and it's sort of trailing off. So what I keep telling everybody is like, look, everybody that wants to be or was thinking about being involved in pet welfare, they already have engaged with us at one point or another. So we kind of have to really think outside the box and step outside of our comfort zone. And we have to start creating people that are not necessarily engaged in pet welfare right now and bringing them into the pet welfare space. Again, how do we do that? How do we do that? And who do we really need to market to? I think it's really important to understand when you're thinking about something strategically, you have to know who you're targeting and what the best way to approach them and how to give them value so that they want to engage with you. There are some really unique opportunities in the markets here. This is what I came up with. So right now we need to be thinking about approaching households that don't have pets. Best Friends said that I think there's like 35 to 40% of households in the US don't necessarily have pets right now, not even because they're limited to it, like in rental units or whatever, they just don't. So we don't know why they don't, but that's the market that we need to be addressing. We need to be focusing on reluctant adopters. So these are people that love pets, but they have this like block where they're like, I'm too busy. Or when we talk to them about fostering, the notorious like statement back is, oh, it's just, it's too emotional. I could never do that. We need to be talking, or maybe they have like, they're worried about their kids, or they're moving now, or they're going to be moving and they want to wait until they move. The negative first impression dynamic are people that we need to re-engage. So this was anybody that was put off by fostering by some sort of marketing, advertisement, or material that they saw that likely evoked way too much emotion way too fast. They put up a barrier, an emotional barrier because they felt too much pressure or shame or guilt. And so that impression stuck with them and they've not reconsidered it since. So we need to be approaching them. And then also to the adoption barriers. I think this is a really nice opportunity, especially when we have these conversations about adoption barriers and giving a solution to, right now it's very black and white, like you either have adoption barriers or you don't. I think this is a nice opportunity to address that middle section where we're offering solutions for adopters that maybe some of these rescues would consider like an adoption barrier. Maybe they're not financially sound, or they've kind of had, a not great pet experience in the past, or they did something that, they felt were, doesn't qualify them to have a pet right now. They've never owned a pet before. I'm sorry. So it just offers a really nice opportunity for us to be saying, okay, look, just because these things happen that we're thinking very black and white about, excluding you from being a pet parent, those things usually don't necessarily mean that those people don't care or that they're not qualified to offer love and stability and nurturing. But it does offer us an opportunity as the rescue and the shelter to say, hey, look, we want you to be able to enjoy pet parenting. Here, there's resources that we can provide for you. You don't have to worry about, the veterinary care for these pets. We'll manage that for you. Maybe we can work within their housing situation to give them a pet that's suitable for, their space needs. And excuse me, I'm sorry. Also, again, like advocating for the preventative care needs that you're trying to promote and giving them a way to engage with pet care by also drip campaigning education to them as to why these things are important. So how do we do that? So this is the whole pet sharing promotion. Everything that you will see, it's all fostering, same rules. Everything on the back end is exactly the same. However, the presentation in front is completely different. So pet sharing, when you love pets, but you have a really busy work schedule, you want to experience being a cat parent and a dog parent, and you can't choose one. You only love kittens and you don't really want to own a cat. You want flexibility because you have kids, or maybe taking it a step further, you just want to introduce your kids to pet care, but you don't necessarily want to be a pet parent or own a pet. Really targeting some of these, again, going to the adoption barriers. Maybe you're concerned about veterinary expenses, or the financial feasibility of owning a pet is not available to you or not realistic. So sure, you can pet share with us. And again, I always think it's so funny when people are like, oh, I want to foster, but I have to ask my husband. And I'm always like, well, guess what? Like, if you're just pet sharing with us, like, your husband doesn't have to love animals because you're only going to take this dog in for the weekend, or, for 2 weeks, or, whatever the situation is. Or maybe your one partner loves cats and you love dogs, and you guys can't decide. So you're going to alternate which pet you have into your home. Again, we're giving a lot of opportunities to counterbalance a lot of the hesitancies that people have for fostering right now, but we're approaching it in a we're giving you opportunities and solutions way. These are just some examples. This is just like a stories that I would put up. Pet sharing. Yes, you can be a pet friendly family. On a flexible schedule. Our pets love being invited to go on day trips, weekend sleepovers, and even extended vacations from the shelter. The language and the presentation and approach of this, you're offering options for pet family enjoyment without the pressure of adopting. So again, we're removing a lot of that negative stigma and stereotypes that people have about fostering right now, which is that if I take this pet in, I'm going to want to adopt, or there's going to be an expectation that I hopefully will adopt. You're also offering multiple options for shorter term pet stays. What I see right now, and it kills me, is I see a lot of people saying temporary foster needed. And the reason why I don't like this and why this is so harmful to pet welfare right now is because fostering is always supposed to be temporary. So when we put out there that this pet needs a temporary foster, we are by default sending the message that fostering is a more permanent task. And we're putting that message out there that it is a larger commitment than maybe a weekend stay or a day trip or a 2-week situation. So we really have to be careful about that. And then again, you're removing the pressure of the guilt and shame that they might feel normally for returning a pet, like by saying, hey, I can no longer do this, or, my time is up. If we are already putting it out there that we totally love it when people are taking these weekend pet sharing situations, they don't feel bad bringing the dogs back because we've set the expectation that that is normal. Again, just another example of a promo is the experience pet sharing with like a little feedback. So like, I really love being able to enjoy pet parenting and helping pets in need without worrying about the limitations of my crazy work schedule. We're getting out in front of all of these excuses, and we're changing all of these I can'ts, and we're reframing them into, yes, you can, but you just have to be thinking about it differently. So again, we're giving the value. We're giving you short-term pet parenting enjoyment value without making you feel like there's going to be some sort of long-term or large-scale obligation for fostering. You're consistently removing the psychological foster, like the commitment barrier that is oftentimes there. And people are like, community sharing is so popular right now. And it's a really nice opportunity for us to be tapping into that normalized feeling that people have about sharing. People home share, right? They do like the rent my room for the weekend. They ride share. They like grocery shop share. You know, everybody is doing sharing. They're very comfortable with the narratives of it. There's absolutely no reason why we can't start normalizing that it's perfectly acceptable for rescue pets to be in homes in this community sharing experience. So with that, like just taking it one step further, I think it's really important, not just in fostering, but like this narrative and this language is used in all of your promotions, being very like sharing should be in everything, like these trigger words, sharing, community, a place for dog lovers, like a place for pet lovers, the many ways that you can be involved, perfect for kids, bring your family, again, being very family community focused. And again, focusing it on the give value. We know what we're getting. Anybody that's being involved is helping us. So we have to present it in a way that it's offering value. So, you know, calling all dog lovers, get your cuddles, wet kisses, wiggle butts, while sharing in the everyday caretaking needs of our pet. So we're saying the same thing. This says, we want volunteers to come and help in our shelter, but I didn't say it that way because I know that that is a turnoff for people because people don't want to think about dogs in a shelter. Sharing some smiles right here. I'm saying, hey, can you share these pets, doing on social share? And again, tapping into the whole, these pets are available for adoption and are part of our pet sharing program. This is the same thing, but like just on Catterdays, we play with kitties. And I usually post these on Saturdays. Again, like saying, hey, cat lovers, this is for you. Your fill of head boops, cuddle sessions, purr therapy, while sharing in the everyday caretaking needs of our friends. Again, being very inclusive about like, if they can bring friends, family, if they can do like buddies and bring friends, you know, into the shelter, and really, really, really promoting. There's more than one way to be involved. There's tons of ways to be involved. And there's a lot of sharing within our community in the pet welfare space. And that's really it.